We're now going to talk about one of the newly emerging types of funding opportunities there are for small businesses, freelancers, or anyone else that is looking for money for particular projects. And we're going to look at a subject called crowdfunding. And let me just give you a brief definition I found about crowdfunding. It says it is the process of getting people from all over the world to contribute to the creation of a project or to contribute financially to the successful completion of a project. So basically what it's saying is people who lend money or give money under a crowdfunding type of arrangement are people from all over the world, all ages, all types of people, and you can effectively raise money from crowdfunding platforms. So the sites that actually run this type of funding are called crowdfunding platforms or crowdfunding sites. And what they do is to link the project creator with those who want to support the project. So that's one part of the deal there. So just park that somewhere for a moment. And I want to talk about peer-to-peer lending, okay? Peer-to-peer lending is very similar to crowdfunding. The only difference is that they tend to or only provide loans. So you have peer-to-peer lenders that provide loans, that provide personal loans, for example, Zopa in the UK. And then you have peer-to-peer lending that provide loans to businesses like Funding Circles in the UK, and you have Prosper.com in the US. Okay, so now you have two types. The crowdfunding, strictly speaking, crowdfunding is those who give money to complete a project, or they also give money as a means to invest in a particular project and you get a return from it. But over here on the peer-to-peer lending, you get a loan from, you get a personal loan or you get a business loan from a peer-to-peer lender. But the common denominator of those two types, the crowdfunding and the peer-to-peer lending, is that anyone can participate. So now, let me tell you something, because I've started investing money in the peer-to-peer lenders, because you can make money from actually lending money to businesses or giving personal loans through the lending platforms like Zopa, Funding Circles, Prosper.com in the US, as a means of actually generating money, not only to go borrow money from now, but to actually be the one that is lending money for people to borrow, and then you can make money also. All right. So, but people only know about the crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe, and those type of crowdfunding platforms. Now, let's talk seriously. If you want to when you're going to a peer-to-peer lender, pretty much your credit needs to be okay. If it's not okay, those peer-to-peer lenders are not going to give you a personal loan or a business loan, because there are quite a few defaults in the beginning of the process that they're now shy about lending, except you have an okay credit. So if you don't have an okay credit, it's unlikely that you're going to get a personal loan or a business loan from a peer-to-peer lender. But if you move over here to the crowdfunding, if your project is exciting enough, then you might have people who want to give towards it for a return, or they want to give towards it to get not necessarily to get money, but to get a reward. It's a reward-based type of return that they want. So just think about those two types. So if you don't have a good credit score, you really want to go for the strictly crowdfunding type of platform like Kickstarter, like Indiegogo, and those type of platforms to kind of raise money for your business. But if you do have good credit, I suggest even before you go to the banks, go to the peer-to-peer lenders, because their interest rates are always lower than bank rates and they always do good deals. So just so that you understand the two areas that we're relating to. If you go for, and I'm going to concentrate now on the crowdfunding like the Kickstarter and the Indiegogo types of sites, where you can raise money to run your business without actually needing to pay back. For the peer-to-peer lenders, you need to pay back the money. On the strictly crowdfunding types of sites, you don't need to pay back the money. If it's not a loan, if it's a gift or a gift to do a project, or somebody is funding your project for a return, even if it doesn't work, you don't need to pay back the money. But there are some restrictions. For example, when you set a target for the crowdfunding money that you want, if the target is not reached in terms of contributions, a place like Kickstarter, anyway, at the time of recording this, you will not be allowed to take any of that money. You have to return the money to the supporters. Some other sites work differently. They might let you take whatever money's been contributed and you go look for some more. It just depends. So you need to read about the site before you actually start the process or start a campaign on those sites. Now, something I'm going to bring to your attention is that there's a lot of talk about, oh, you can get money from Kickstarter, you can get money from Indiegogo, you can get money from this crowdfunding platforms, as though it was some simple process that you go on and then tomorrow morning you're going to find money rolling into your account. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. I can tell you now that most people registered to gain support, financial support from these platforms don't actually get a penny, or they never reach their targets. So how can you make sure you have a successful campaign on any of these crowdfunding sites? Well, it's hard work. Just know that for a start. The first thing to realize is hard work. Just because a crowdfunding site has, 100,000 members, does not mean those 100,000 members are all going to contribute $1 to your project, $1 each to your project, because there are lots of other sites, and you're going to have to do the work to make sure that you get the money. So let me talk about what you can do. First thing is you need to have your own dedicated mailing list that you are working to make sure that they go on that site and give you some money. You also need to have a good ad, a good promotion, a good elevator pitch that is running on the site that creates a buzz, creates an excitement for people to want to invest. And then you've got to promote this platform. Your own page has to be promoted via your emails, your Twitters, your Facebook, or all the social media platforms to generate a kind of return in sense of people now knowing about your campaign, and now begin to enable the campaign to go viral so that others can come in now and start supporting you financially. Another thing you need to do to make the campaign work, you need to respond to the comments and post updates also on how you're getting on. And finally, the reward package. The reward package needs to be really exciting to get people to actually come and invest in your business. So yeah, crowdfunding works. All types of people can go on there and support you. In reality, though, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. But like I said earlier, if you have a good credit, peer-to-peer lending could just be the better way for you to raise money, as opposed to just going onto a platform to try and get what I call some free money, because really there's no free money per se. You're going to have to do a return in terms of either interest or a reward-based system that's going to work. So really, let me recap on what I've said. I've talked about the two types, the strictly crowdfunding and also peer-to-peer, okay? Then I've talked about a it depends on your own efforts. To raise money depends a lot on your own efforts, not on the site itself. Most of the platforms are good and there are people there, but it depends on your efforts, okay? And finally, you got to consider that it takes time to actually raise money. Sometimes it can take up to 2 years, it can take a year, or you may not raise money at all, except if you go for the peer-to-peer lenders, and they pretty much give you a response very quickly as to whether they're going to support your business or not. So I've talked about, how you can actually make money by putting your own money on the peer-to-peer sites, because they also give you a return when they lend your money out to people. Or if you're looking to raise money and you have good credit, you can also go to the peer-to-peer lenders. But if you do not have good credit, but you have an exciting project you think people are going to like, you can go on the crowdfunding sites. All right, hope you got all that, and I'll talk to you soon.